Brodes Media.
It's the best time of the year, baby. September. The weather's getting to the perfect spot, the perfect temperature. You got the long sleeves going, pumpkin cream cold brew flowing out your ass. Oh, and Eagles football. It's so glorious knowing the Dallas Cowboys are so lost. They're having an identity crisis. They're not even focusing on the sport, on the big game that's going down Thursday. They're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with their incompetence. They're trying to figure out how the hell that Micah Parsons deal even went through. How come nobody stopped it? How could Jerry Jones be so dumb? How can Jerry Jones still have this power? How can we be paying Dak Prescott $80 billion a year when he's just a guy? What is going on? And I'm just chilling. Knowing my quarterback is going to dominate. Throw dots all over the field. Dimes to A.J. Brown consistently. Whew. I've missed it. Unfortunately, I've been banging my head against the wall watching the Phillies break me down on a day-to-day basis. And I forgot what this feels like. Putting my hand in the dirt. Get juiced up for the link. Oh my God, Thursday's going to be outrageous. Outrageous. I'm in disbelief that we're here. Still got a couple of days, but I can smell it. I can feel it in my bones. And I feel so great about the leadership of this team following the Super Bowl victory. We know it's hard when you lose a Super Bowl to get back. We've been through that one before. And it's also very difficult to keep sustained success. You have the target on your back. Everyone's coming for you, and you need a new sense of urgency. But if there's one guy I'm willing to go down with, it's Jalen. Because it doesn't matter how most people respond to going to a Super Bowl and losing or winning a Super Bowl, because Jalen Hurts isn't everybody. He is one of the strangest cats in the world, and I say that in a good sense. It's unbelievable. And you go as he goes. And when he carries himself with this type of attitude, then there's no other way to address it than the way he's addressing it. And the way he's addressing it, he's not even putting on the damn Super Bowl ring. Is there anything more gorgeous than that? Nick Sirianni goes, banner. No, we're not out there for that. As if he doesn't know it's banner day. That's part of the protocol, dude. You win a Super Bowl, you get your rings, you have your parade down Broad Street. Oh, by the way, there's a banner that hangs at the link. Banner night. Nah, I wasn't aware. That's incredible. And I feel when we talk about the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback, and they're yin and yang, and they're totally different. One's obnoxious, one is absolutely absurd, one is barking at fans behind the benches, and the other is on the cover of GQ and won't smile. Barely smiles. They're on the same page here, and their message is one. And it's not yin and yang, it's togetherness. It's perfectly being described right in front of you with the way Nick Sirianni addressed the media Tuesday before practice. Speaking of practice, I can't believe Landon Dickerson is out there. This guy, meniscus, he goes down. We're all worried. We're crying at the end of the open practice when all the fans were there to watch. And it was such a bummer on what was such a great day of Eagles football being back. And you think, oh, please don't be the worst case scenario. When it comes back, it's just a meniscus. We can all take a nice breath because it's not worst case scenario. This dude's out there practicing. Now, he does fit the criteria of the Lane Johnsons, the Jason Kelce's. There are some that it doesn't matter if they lose 7 ligaments. Guess what? They're lined up. They're lined up, and they're blocking for QB1. I don't know how. And nothing is confirmed, but it sure as hell feels like it's trending in that direction. They're keeping everything close to the chest as we'd imagine they are. Or as we imagine they would, excuse me. Right? They're not telling us who's playing corner opposite of Quinion. They're not telling us anything. How's safety gonna go? I think we could probably project a Dory Jackson. And if we want to get serious for a second, unfortunately, I guess we should. There are some things to talk about that's not fully polished yet. But I don't know how many teams are fully polished in September. Hell, the team that won the fucking Super Bowl last year was the least polished team in September, going 2-2. And with the new offensive coordinator, with very limited snaps and reps in practice throughout training camp because A.J. Brown wasn't available and Devontae Smith was a bit banged up and all sorts of reasons why, they didn't get that many chances to throw the football around in what you can call meaningful practice snaps. So, the way I'll phrase it is this. I'm not concerned long-term by any means. And truth be told, I'm not concerned in the short term either. But the way I'm preparing to enter September, let's say, I think they're going to kick ass against Dallas because Dallas, fragile is an understatement. This is a franchise that has no direction. This is a franchise that has no leadership. This is a franchise that is straight up crumbling to the ground. And it's funny, you got media members of the Dallas Cowboys say, oh, the Eagles are talking that shit so much, you better fucking win by 90 with the way they're talking. Oh, we're going to beat your ass. I don't know what else to tell you. We're going to beat your ass. I don't think you're ready for the environment that is the Link following a Super Bowl, and we get to beat up on this version of Dallas football. Oh, my God, you're going to get fucking annihilated. But for the month of September, and for the start, just looking at it from an Eagles view, it may be choppy. It may be a little bit of a work in progress, like every other team. And I'm okay with that. And here's why I'm more okay with it now than I ever have been. Now, let me be very clear. They still need to result in wins. I can't be having losses. It's just, if it's ugly, and if it's, hey, a win is a win, and if it's keep the main thing, and it's the contribution over, what is the new phrase? I'll get it down eventually. They'll throw it around 50 billion times all year long. Contribution over credits, right? Just win. I don't care how it looks. Just win. Just contribute. And from there, forget who's getting credit, this and that. Win. Win the game. If it's stylistically not sexy, but they're 3-1 after 4, that's fine. There's something about the way this team has already proven that there's something about their DNA. And in football, it's not like baseball, it's not like basketball. There are certain games where style points absolutely matter. But with where the current era of football is, with the lack of preseason and joint practices, and sometimes they use September as a let's get our feet wet, and I know we're getting thrown into the fire, and I know these games all count the same for the records and the standings, but we don't want to put anyone in harm's way in August and all kinds of things like that. This is the new wave. And in this new wave, you've already been shown that there is a lot of communication behind the scenes on how to get it right. They've already executed a plan where they can zig and zag if they thought this was going to be their idea and concept early. Hey, that's not what we're looking for. We have things that can be stronger. Let's shift. Hey, yes, we did focus on X, Y, and Z for the last 3 months. But you know what? We have to pivot, because if we don't, we are going to be screwed and not reach our potential. We're pivoting. And a lot of coaches are stubborn. A lot of guys in this league say, this is my way, and I'm going down with the ship. I don't care if it doesn't work. This is what I believe in. This is who I am to my core. And let's see if it works. I put all this time and effort into it. I'm not scrapping it now. Last year, Nick Sirianni at the bye said, I'm scrapping it. Let's listen to my linemen. Let's listen to my squad. Let's listen to the guys that are in the trenches. Let's see what we can do here. Boom. So if things look a little uncomfortable, if they look sloppy, if they look choppy, I have belief that they can communicate, look at what they do like, look at what they don't like, see what they can switch, see what they can work with, and then get it polished as they roll into week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, once you're in the grind of the year. And once you're getting your schedule established and your body is feeling what a body feels throughout 6-7 weeks of very taxing physicality. Now it's all forming. I'm giving them wiggle room because they've already shown me that they do a good job of looking at the information, looking at the tape, and then applying their best foot moving forward after that. I just love it. I love the fact that I can chill and know that these are the ones pushing the buttons. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell getting into the action now as a South Jerseyman. It's all phenomenal. You know what else I love? I love DraftKings Sportsbook, baby. I'm obsessed with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the only sportsbook that I use. Game on. Week 1 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. Eagles favored by over a touchdown. Anytime Jalen Hurts touchdown, you know they got a play in their back pocket that is super sexy and efficient. How about Saquon's over-under rushing? There's so much available for you. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BRODES. That's code BRODES to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. So, am I worried about the Sidney Brown, Makuba, Marcus Epps safety position? Not necessarily. I think it'll work itself out. Yeah, Vic Fangio is very intelligent. He's been around football a long time. He has versatility. There's things you could do with Jahad Campbell. There's things you could do with Cooper DeJean. He made it very clear throughout training camp. Nobody was stepping up on the outside, even after making the trade for Bennett. And I think Bennett is eventually going to win that job if it's Adoree Jackson, Ringo, and Bennett as the three-headed monster, if you will, that are fighting for that spot. I think Bennett does have the best skill set of them all. I'd be shocked if Adoree Jackson outperforms him, but we'll see how it goes. But Vic Fangio made it very clear, listen, I got to put Cooper DeJean out there because someone should have taken it by now, but nobody did. So you can do certain things if it doesn't work to plan. Now, here's something that I talked myself into, not really talked myself into, but I talked in theory about it, and I wonder if this makes anybody a little less tense and you can settle in more to their current cornerback spot because that's what's scaring everyone, right? Now, if Q is going to travel with the other team's best receiver, If Jalen Carter is going to be a menace, if you have Cooper DeJean so lethal that he reads plays and he picks guys up like Derrick Henry and chucks them backwards. Oh, by the way, you have an all-pro linebacker in Zach Bond. If all those things are true, keep in mind a very professional Reed Blankenship. If all of that is legitimate, if the other team's best wide receiver is locked up, because Q does do that, if Bond can cover up the middle, if Jalen could get to the other QB quickly, where at least maybe he has to eat up a couple of bodies, which then opens up the door for a Nolan Smith or something. My point is, maybe it's not available to just pick on Adoree Jackson the way that you want. Because maybe that's your third option. Maybe that's your fourth option. And if you're looking through your progressions and realize wide receiver 1, suffocated, sticky glue. Somebody's in jail from Quinion. Hey, Zach Bond is all over the middle of the field. Cooper DeJean is crazy. He's absurd. Well, I guess I'll look at Adoree Jack. Oh, Jalen Carter's in my face. Now, pre-snap, you probably determine that's the route I want to go. So if they just do it instantly where they snap the ball, snap your fingers, and it's going right to whoever Adoree Jackson is covering, maybe that's their third or fourth weapon. If they have a pretty productive back as well, maybe that's Jahan Dotson. And then the other team, think about it, is targeting their Jahan Dotson the whole game because that's their most favorable matchup. In theory, wouldn't you live with that? Now, it doesn't always work out that way. You scheme open matchups. You do things of that nature. But who's countering the other team's scheme? Vic Fangio. Who's been around football for 1 billion years? Vic Fangio. So you may have one of the best counter guys in the league. See what I'm saying? So I know it doesn't always work out that way. I know it's a very simplistic way to say it, but I kind of think that there is some validity to that, no? Now let's get to this next wave of what some are throwing out there, and it's the Saquon Barkley 2K season effect and how guys who have that type of workload and dominance one year, very difficult to duplicate that the next. I touched on Jalen's mentality, right? Yeah, welcome Saquon. Very similar. Saquon's not like the rest, as you can see. He's jumping over people backwards. And that's so famous now that everyone points to it. But if you really let that sink in on what that is, doesn't make any sense when you replay the play over and over again. This guy's different. And when you have the luxury, I don't want to call it the luxury, but he does somewhat have the luxury of running behind a Jeff Stoutland offensive line, that opens up more possibilities than any other running back has had in history. Not that other running backs haven't had the luxury, again, of a great offensive line, but the Eagles' offensive line is just operating at a different level. They just do it in different ways. So that's going to give him an advantage as well to have a spectacular season. Do I want him to have the same aggressive amount of carries? Not necessarily. You could probably work in A.J. Dillon and Will Shipley and do your very best to manage the game to still get victories and still put an emphasis on him being a big part of your winning, but also knowing you don't want to run him into the ground in November either, in October. You can't have him having some sort of workload that's unsustainable. I trust the way the mentality of the organization is. And back in 2017, with the follow-up year in 2018, the way they were talking, I remember hearing clips from Zach Ertz and Fletcher Cox and a lot of these guys, and I love them. There's nothing wrong with what they were saying, but just when you look back, you see the difference. And you see how it just seems like this team is so prepared to let the past go, while the other team was out to... What's the right way to say this? I think there was a combination of still smelling themselves, thinking they were elite, thinking they were great, and trying to also run it back with just an arrogant confidence that backfired. I think this team, they hear the noise. Jalen isn't a top quarterback. Saquon can't do this. It's so hard to go back to back and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's cocky arrogance. I think it's straight up, again, disrespect. We just won a championship and my quarterback can't get respect. We just won a championship and I won Super Bowl MVP and people are talking about my QB like he's a piece of trash. Nick Sirianni still getting no credit from some national media member saying this is a Howie Roseman product. And while it is, most teams that win all teams that win a championship is a product of the one who puts the roster in place. No shit. But no one else who wins a title, head coach-wise, quarterback-wise, gets pissed on the way these two guys get pissed on. And no GM gets the love and appraisal the way Howie gets the love and appraisal. There is a kick in the rear end from that sense that I think is extremely motivating, where that wasn't always the case back in that 2018 post-17 run. And it was a very weird spot, too, because you did it without your quarterback. But then there was also controversy on who had the locker room. Which quarterback had their hands all over the team spiritually after a shrine was made of Big Dick. See what I'm saying? That's not an issue now. So it's not as weird with the relationships in the room either. That's how I see it. And I'm not worried about the defensive line pressure either, because Jalen Carter is the talk of the league dominant. And not only is he the talk of the league, but he backs up. It's the Aaron Donald. It's Jalen Carter. It's at that level. And when I hear Lane and Mailata talk about a Jomo, you wouldn't put that on blast and put that on notice. They're very professional guys. They've been around the media for quite some time. You're not just going to throw the name of Jomo out there and say, whoa, there's something to this kid, because that puts a pretty intense expectation on him. You only say that if you know he can back it up and support it. And the way that they're looking at him, like, yo, dude, this kid's legit. This kid is serious. This kid's a weapon. Well, thank you, Milton Williams. We got your replacement. And you're going to see that. Jalen Carter is such a dominating force that you're going to see how much it opens up the rest of the field for the Ojalaris, the Jalix Hunts, the Nolan Smiths, the Ajomos, the Jordan Davises. You're going to see. And when you got good coverage in the secondary with some of the names that I mentioned as my phone drops, I don't know if you guys heard that or not, you're going to get home. You're going to get home. There's going to be so many eyes and so much attention drawn to number 98 as it is. That in its own right is going to make this, just lethal getting to the quarterback. All right, we got some text messages on this Eagles season, so we're going to read those. But before we do, let me tell you about my great friends over at Amelio Cigars. I am so in love with Amelio Cigars, it's not even funny. And I can't wait after Eagles victories to go out back and light one of these fuckers up. And if you're a cigar smoker, you have to join me. Old school roots, new school attitude, made at Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. Plenty of different blends to choose from. If you go to the website down below, you can use promo code Brodes10 for 10% off your purchase. Do not be a fool. There is only one cigar to smoke this Eagle season, and that is an Amelio cigar. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The amount of you that went out of your way to check out Amelio Cigars and try them and send me a message saying, Brodes, thank you so much. These are phenomenal. I've tried multiple different Amelio cigars and they were all tremendous. I can't see myself smoking another cigar again other than Amelio cigar. I mean it. It is changing lives out there. That's how sensational Amelio cigars are. Make sure you join the Amelio cigar family today. All right, let's read a couple of text messages here. So let's start with, and if I'm a little choppy on reading them, sometimes it's not the greatest English, and I'm doing my best. I love you guys. I'm just saying, you text in, maybe the grammar's not perfect. I'm stumbling over my word. I'm doing my best. Wells from Audubon, New Jersey. South Jersey, baby. Let's go. Brodes, it's Dallas week. It's been too long since we watched meaningful football. You've been proudly carrying the Jalen flag over the last few months, and it's time to watch his winning carry us again. I can't listen to others say the offense was determined by Saquon's success. Saquon was very important to take us from the Miles Sanders era and move us forward. But do you agree with me that a QB who is touching the ball every snap is more important than the running back, even though he had such a successful season getting 2K plus yards? Love the show, Brodes. Keep fighting the good fight at the radio station. Jalen Hurts Appreciation Day, baby. Can't wait for Eagles football. Every show I do is going to be Jalen Hurts Appreciation Day. No, I co-sign what you're saying. Absolutely. I don't want to diminish how other teams were selling out to try and stop Saquon. I don't want to diminish the fear that he strikes in other teams' heads and the defensive coordinator lose sleep over that. But I also don't want to diminish what Jalen could do. Jalen Hurts had 70-plus rushing yards in the Super Bowl in 2 straight Super Bowls against Spags. He is a serious threat. He scares people too. He can keep it as well. He has a 44-yard touchdown run in the playoffs against the Los Angeles Rams. That's half the fucking field. I don't know if you know math or not, but that is literally almost half the fucking football field that your quarterback is taking it to the house to score 7. Are you kidding me? By the way, you lose a Hall of Fame center. And we were told he did a lot of the stuff pre-snap. You get thrown in with Cam Jurgens, who was a phenomenal athlete, but he is nowhere even close to the smarts, just based off of experience, than what Jason Kelce was. This man, Jalen, is walking up to the line of scrimmage. I was told he can't read a defense. He is now reading and reacting. He's now countering what the defense is throwing, and he's changing on the fly. And he's going, yo, let's go. We're doing this now. Audible. And that's going to the house as well. Jalen, when you play quarterback and you're winning Super Bowls, you're touching the football every snap. The fact that somehow everybody else is getting the credit. I've never seen this happen in a football sense. Not like that. Not when the quarterback's this great. There are the Joe Flacco example. There are some examples. But when the quarterback is this great, where for 3 consecutive years, you could talk about winning football games at a crazy clip. Now, one of those seasons happened to have a really ugly collapse, and he was a part of that collapse. But I don't know many quarterbacks that you can't win 10 straight games, 10 of 11, 8 straight, 9 straight. With not phenomenal quarterback play. It's impossible. It's impossible. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm not appreciating Saquon, but they did go to the Super Bowl. And the reason why they lost the first Super Bowl wasn't Jalen's fault. And I love how people point out the fumble. Yes, there was a fumble. There's going to be adversity that strikes in a game. You responded to that fumble by scoring 10 points. 10 points right after that fumble. That's what great quarterbacks do. They make a mistake, bang, here's 10 points to rebound and recover. He did that with Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, who's Miles Sanders? Miles Sanders is going to be forgotten about in this league. He did it with that guy. You can do it with that guy. There's something to your quarterback play. That's no disrespect. Was it Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift? Whatever, the combo of those two guys just in general over the years. It's crazy. So I agree with you, dude, and I'll keep fighting the fight. You know that. Come on, man. All right, Nick in West Philly. Do you smell that? It's overpriced beer and fries at the link. Thanks, Jeffrey. Well, that's an interesting way to start out the tweet. We love Lori. But there is that graphic going there. What is it, Baltimore, that's willing to get a little cheaper for some prices? Oh, my phone's going nuts down there. I'm looking down at the ground. All right, what's it say here? I want you to picture this right now on camera, bro. It's okay, I'm picturing it. Under the lights. A camera set up a few feet outside the tunnel. Okay. You can see the team standing there ready to burst. Dude. Fireworks and yelling is everywhere. And all of a sudden, the team flies out the tunnel and the stadium shakes in excitement. Number one slowly trots out with everyone passing by him. Let's go, Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! That's just the tweet, or the text, excuse me. I'm just reading it. I miss a nice E-A-G-L-E-S chant. It's been a while since I heard it, believe it or not. Been hearing the Go Bird. I haven't heard the E-A-G-L-E-S in a while. That felt good. Could you imagine? Now, they're going to say, you're going to make number one, Jalen Hurts. The place is going to erupt crazy. But I do like the idea of, here he is, the slow trot, right? He's got the headband underneath the helmet. Maybe the chin strap is by the bottom lip, so he covers his mouth. The helmet's not fully on, and he's just doing that slow trot, and everybody else is running by him. Dude, the few couple of broadcast shots that we get where he's just kind of, setting his feet a little bit, getting a couple of snaps, throwing the football in warm-ups to a coach. Here he is. Now, don't criticize my form here on camera, the microphone. I can't extend the arm the way I want to. I kind of look like a nipple there trying to throw a football, but I don't have the space, all right? I can throw a football. I can throw a mean spiral. I can hang, all right? I'm just saying, I don't want you to criticize me there. If you saw it on camera, go, bro, what's up with that angle here? What are you doing? By the way, if you're not listening on YouTube, there are other ways to listen to me. Sure, there's a segue. Apple Podcast and Spotify. Some podcasting platforms out there other than those two, but those are the two main ones. Just search Brodes Media. Search Sports Talk with Brodes. Subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating. It means the world. Thank you all so much. Just want to throw that in there, but dude, that was a great visualization. Thank you. Who was that? Nick in West Philly. Here's an unknown number. Dallas fan who is local checking him. Well, of course he's unknown. Why don't you tell me your name, scumbag? I hate the Cowboys. I do. Jerry doesn't deserve the Cowboys anymore, and he's ruining everything. Everything that I once loved about football. Dude, I don't. Do I want to hear your tears? Yeah, I do want to hear your tears. But yeah. And it's funny because the afternoon show put up a poll about, is it better when the Cowboys are good? Like, this is fun, right? Watching them cry, getting texts like this where fans are just delusional about their current state. And, well, they're not delusional. They're aware of their current state. Some are delusional, but they're just broken. They're broken. They're just destroyed and annihilated as human beings. Now, they were flawed anyway as human beings to even root for a franchise like that, especially local Cowboys fans. But that's neither here nor there. The point was, when the team is relevant and the games matter more and both teams have a goal and an objective to win and they both actually have a chance, doesn't that make the rivalry more fun? And the answer to that question is no doubt about it. Yes, 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 and yes. Yes. Yes, I remember when it was Eagles Cowboys, they were both winning double-digit games. You were both competing for the NFC East. And, Dak was winning a lot of games when healthy and all that stuff. And, yeah, I agree. There was something about that made it more like my toes were curling. Fuck you. I worked with a couple Cowboys people. You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. Like that mattered. And it hit. And you didn't want to show up the next day at work after a loss because it was going to be hell and all that stuff. But I can also appreciate this, too, because this is such in shambles that it's hysterical. I do like it more because it's more competitive. And when the rivalry's more active, it brings out the best of us and the worst of us and the juice and all that. Like, I'm not worried about the guy. I know we're just going to go kick their ass. It's that simple. We're just going to go kick their ass. That's simple. Boom, done. Kick their ass. It's not, all right, hey, we got to watch out for this and that and this. And there's a really fun part of that. That's what makes sports great, is the competitiveness, the rivalries, and all of that. No doubt. But every once in a while, if it gets to this level of extreme, you got to enjoy it too, because it's that bad. It's that incompetent that, yes, it brings joy to me. So, yes, I also see this side, and I'm willing to appreciate this side. We'll take one more call here. Paul. I can see the Eagles starting at 2-2 again. This isn't really English. I'm doing my best. Essentially, Paul thinks something that was mentioned earlier about just maybe a slow start to the year. 2-2 would, oh man, if it was 2-2, what is it? Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks. We're always going to be afraid of the Bucks. The Matthew Stafford thing, they can put him out there all they want, but there clearly is something to some level going on there. 2-2, I don't know. 2-2 would, I'm not going to tell you I'm calling it quits at 2-2 the same way I was last year with Nick Sirianni, Paul. But if they start out 2-2, I'd be disappointed. I need 3-1. I need 3-1. It could be an ugly 3-1, but I do need the result to be 3-1. 2-2. Again, I'm not going to freak out the same way I did last year. We'll talk about what needs to change. There'll obviously be a lot of talking points and a lot of criticism, and a lot of things wouldn't be going right if that's the case. So whether Kevin Patullo needs to get his head out of his ass, Nick Sirianni needs to get his head out of his ass, if the offensive line is having issues with maybe Landon Dickerson's health and someone at right guard, if cornerback 2 is really a problem, and if Sidney Brown and Makuba, and that's an issue, whatever happens, I don't know. If Zach Bond doesn't have an all-pro-like year and he has a mediocre year, and that could cause problems. So we'll have to see what happens. But if they're 2-2, then there's some things that need to seriously change. And if they're 3-1 and they win ugly, there's things that are going to have to seriously change too. But I don't know. That 2-2, it's just hard for me to admit that. I got to see how it plays out. I got to see the context of how we get to that point. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of leaves me with a little bland. Now, something that doesn't leave me with a little bland is my friends over at Green Lawn Fertilizing. I love my lawn, and I can't thank the experts over at Green Lawn Fertilizing enough. Based in the Philadelphia area and best in market. Experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. They are so knowledgeable, it's not even funny. And I sat down with them, and they really educated me on exactly what the treatments were going to be with my lawn. I tried to DIY it, and it was a nightmare, and I made things worse. So don't do that. Just go straight to the ones that know best. And they really do sit you down, and they say, all right, Brodes, this is going to be treatment 1. This is the timeline. This is how it's going to work. This is what it's going to do. And once all of that plays out, this will be treatment 2, and treatment 2 will be the following. And then after that, treatment 3 will be bang, bang, bang. They lay it out for you so detailed, so much information, and that's beautiful because you want to know what is going down. You want to know the process. And right now, they have a fall bundle for you with a free application and $100 off to your aeration and seeding. Make sure you check out the link down below in the description. It's a no-brainer. Make sure you talk to the experts today. With that, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. It's been nice to kick it, chop it, talking birds. Thursday, baby. Thursday. Wow.